Senior Director of HR for Asia Pacific. Infor is a global software company headquartered in New York, which focuses on business applications delivered via cloud computing. We now have about 200 offices in 50 countries with over 17,000 employees globally. Here in our Philippine offices in BGC, we have about 2,200 plus employees. It is a fully owned subsidiary of Infor, and primarily it's a software development center, but we also do consulting and customer support services. So to start with my presentation, I have lined up a few topics in my agenda. HR digital transformation is a huge topic, it's a hot topic for us HR professionals, and for a good reason, since digital technology has the ability to transform HR as we know it. But while it is one thing to talk about digital HR transformation, it's an entirely different thing to do it. In the next half hour or so, I will attempt to dive a little deeper into HR digital transformation. Why is it? What is it? Why is it necessary? And how do we go about it? So we know that we know what digital transformation is. It's transitioning a business based on traditionally manual processes to a business that has technology as at its core in all its functions. So if we translate it to HR, it refers to innovating our HR processes to become automated and data-driven. Deloitte says HR transformation, digitalization is about HR teams taking up the dual challenge of transforming HR operations on the one hand and transforming the workforce and the way work is done on the other. The transformation journey entails identifying problems that need to be solved and using technology in the most efficient way possible to solve these problems. It requires the mindsets across the organization are changed, and that this change begin from the leadership and trickles down to the rest of the company. This results to an agile organization ready to adapt to the rapid evolution of technology. So, what is the goal of HR's digital transformation? It's multifold, but very straightforward. You'll see in the slide that it says to automate processes and reduce the time spent on repetitive tasks, to maximize the employee experience, and to use the freed up time to strategize and ultimately benefit the business bottom line. As we all already know, digital disruption will have significant implications for the business and our HR strategy. For us in HR, this digital transformation positions us to be catalysts creating two fundamental changes. First, we can help business leaders and employees shift to a digital mindset, a digital way of managing, organizing, and leading change with data analysis and decision making. Second, HR has the opportunity to revolutionize the entire employee experience by transforming HR processes, systems, and the HR organization via new digital platforms, apps, cloud, and the ways of delivering HR services. The new vision of HR is integrating SMAC technologies, that's the social mobile analytics cloud, to redefine the employee experience and make work easier, real time, more productive, and more rewarding, while hopefully improving work life balance. As illustrated in this slide, consider the difference between the current HR service delivery models and digital HR to better understand how radical and profound the digital HR transformation is and will be. This approach represents a completely new way of thinking about HR solutions. To succeed in this new paradigm, HR teams will have to adopt design thinking, use integrated analytics, and analyze vendor solutions carefully. When we talk about the why of HR transformation, first things first. As a rule of thumb, any HR transformation, whether it is a digital one or not, has to take place with a clear objective in mind. It has to make business sense. Too often still, companies seem to give in to peer pressure. Their competitors do digital, so they feel like they have to do something too. But digitalizing certain HR processes just for the sake of it is never a good idea. It leads to the implementation of expensive technology that doesn't meet the actual needs of the business. Needless to say, this totally defies the purpose of transformation. I'd say that what makes total sense is understanding the benefits other companies get out of technology. In a career builder research, it was found out that HR manager respondents who do not fully automate say that they lose 14 hours a week from manually completing tasks. And that is really huge. Also, in the same report, it is said that 72% of respondents say that they expect that some roles within talent acquisition and HCM will become completely automated in the next 10 years. HR automation is indeed on the rise, and now we're seeing employee messaging, employee benefits, payroll as the top automated functions. It's only a matter of time before automation drastically impacts on HR operations and becomes a catalyst of employee engagement. Take recruitment and talent management, for instance. With increased interest among today's workforce to shift towards mobile technology and social media, companies are transitioning from posting on the traditional job search websites into social media. For Philippines, for example, we're essentially an R&D center and we hire developers who are really deep into technology. And the channel that gives us the highest successful hires are job boards next to employer referrals. This is because, as shown by data, 79% of job seekers are likely to use job search portals, which is also an effective branding tool for our companies. HR managers are also increasingly aligning with this trend, where 72% of recruiters use LinkedIn to hire employees, and 55% of organizations strategically use Facebook, Twitter for various HR purposes. And what we're seeing right now is just one of the many industry surveys which talk about the benefits of getting on with technology. We're also seeing more and more that digital now has a strong impact, not just on employee preferences, but also in the entire life cycle of an employee, spanning from recruitment and selection, onboarding, performance management, learning development, and offboarding. Fortunately for me, I have the ability to use our own product, the Infor Cloud Suite HCM, which is an integrated suite of products that provides the tools to manage human resources from talent acquisition, compensation management, development planning, performance and succession management, and even transition management. Last year, we launched our continuous performance engagement, or CPE, which is also in our Infor HCM software. CPE is our approach to enable regular check-ins between an employee and a manager about performance feedback, accomplishments, work challenges, and development opportunities versus the traditional once a year performance discussions, which examine performance over a past period and provide very minimal opportunity for any kind of progress dialogue to take place. When talking about performance management in this era, who wouldn't want performance discussions to be real time, simple, based on self reflection, and most of all, transparent? Our employees love our CPE, and technology has paved the way for all of this to happen. After all that's been said, so how should HR start with this transformation? First, we need to take up the challenge to start with a digital first HR strategy. The shift to a mobile and platform way of thinking is at the forefront of this challenge. The combination of mobile and cloud solutions and the pervasive access to smartphones, which are as powerful as laptops and desktop computers, are redefining how our HR processes should be designed, delivered, accessed, and operated. And then we have to embrace design thinking. Social, mobile, analytics, and cloud, the SMAC tools, are only useful if employees adopt them. We in HR must begin with employee needs and the user experience in mind. Incorporating design thinking throughout the process will help our companies maximize the impact of new digital technologies. We can leverage an agile approach integrating HR, technology, employees, and business leaders in the process. HR professionals like us have the opportunity to use agile development as a new way of operating in HR. And this will require HR specialists, system and application developers, designers, employees, and business leaders to work together as a team. Another way is to share digital strategies and experiences across the company. HR has the opportunity to learn from early digital adopters. A community of practice can share digital experiences and implementation learning across the company. HR can learn from the digital savvy, and in turn, HR can help develop the enterprise's digital mindset and capabilities. And how about imagining HR and the employee experience in real time? One of the biggest challenges in moving to a digital strategy is the focus on real time access, decision making, and results. This involves a significant step beyond many recent HR efforts, which have focused on shared services and HR service centers and SLAs or service level agreements. Digital HR is a call to automate many areas of HR. With every employee having a smartphone, HR teams can automate, streamline, and adopt more real time and digital first operations rather than process forms and transactions. Finally, integrating analytics and reporting as part of the digital platform, not just an add on. Most HR teams today have dedicated teams that collect information from process and transaction systems for basic HR reports and analysis. Instead, HR management information should be an automated part of the HR digital platform. It should provide managers with real time information and leaders with real time analysis, thus decreasing the time spent on reports and increasing the time HR and business leaders spend on analyzing data and solving problems. Analytics and reports can be configured and integrated into a business intelligence layer of the HR platform, linking apps directly to leadership reports and analysis. As an overarching goal, however, after everything that I have shared, we should accept that the essence of HR's digital transformation really lies in creating a culture of digitalization. This involves not just learning how to use automated solutions, but learning how to use them so they can enhance human capabilities. An HR technologist once said that to ensure a smooth digital transformation, it is essential for organizations to put their employees first rather than the technology. This allows users to adopt the new technology rather than the other way around to make the adoption smoother, better. There are three core pillars that underpin successful digital transformation. That's leadership, culture change, and technology. First is leadership. In any organization, the CEO is the curator of culture, responsible for nurturing a space where diversity can coexist and thrive together. In our digital age, this also means fostering the conditions for using technology at work. Support from the managers is key. We need to make sure employees have managers who lead by example in promoting the use of technology as a way to help them with everyday tasks. Another factor is putting in place a vision from senior leadership that allows employees to see a clear connection between using technology at work and using technology in achieving business goals. Let's jump to technology first. Modern workers may have an abundance of technology at their fingertips, but this availability doesn't necessarily translate into impact. Productivity is an important starting place here. The term can carry negative connotations, like efforts to boost productivity are often associated with employees being asked to work harder and longer hours. But research found that employee productivity doesn't hinge on how long or how hard people work. In fact, it comes down to the conditions in which they are able to get work done. And this is where the effective use of technology comes into play. Finally, on the culture shift, I'd say that today we need an environment where business leaders champion technology as critical in helping the company thrive and helping each individual achieve more. Impactful digital transformation isn't really about IT. It's about people. This is where company culture comes in. When we talk about culture, we're talking about how people work, whether together or as individuals. Flexibility, agility, autonomy, these are just some elements of culture that define the ways in which employees go about their daily work. It is in the best interest of business leaders. Sorry. Apologies for that. Um,
So if there are questions that you have right now for Loida Sagaran, you may type it in the Q&A, or we have a chat box, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. If you have questions, a very interesting discussion that's going on right now. And yes, when Loida is ready, Loida.
sure. Sorry. I'm really sorry. My friends who know me very well understand that my vocal cords have been operated on 3 times. So I'm really getting to be slow on it. So forgive me if I have to have my water from time to time. All right. So thanks, Gilbert. Getting on with what I was saying. So I was mentioning that impactful digital transformation isn't really about HR. It's about people. This is where company culture comes in. And when we talk about culture, we're talking about how people work, whether together or a cluster or as individuals, and that flexibility, agility, autonomy, these are elements of culture that really define the ways in which employees go about their daily work. So that it is in the best interest of business leaders to nurture the process of shifting the culture to that of innovation. Sorry. So, what if you don't achieve the goal? It is possible that you transition to new technology, train your team to use it, and then you realize that it's not working effectively. These can happen, and most companies, unfortunately, don't get it right on the first go. Organizations that succeed in their transformation projects are those that are willing to take risks and are open minded. This combination can be the make or break factor in the digital transformation of the organization. What you need is a team that must be prepared to learn, unlearn, and relearn new processes. To understand why you may have missed your digital transformation goals, you may want to revisit where the bottlenecks are. Technology is not worth the investment if it is not properly adopted and effectively used, and it must deliver value to the organization. So you need to ask yourself, do you have a clear strategy or goal for digital transformation? Do you have the expertise in leading the digital transformation project? Do you have the agility in upgrading to a new digital solution? These issues are common, and addressing them requires resilience from HR. It will take some time to build a workforce that will leverage these emerging technologies effectively. So, having said that, they can be addressed over a period of time. But creating that sense of urgency to initiate digital transformation is critical. And it will be taken seriously only when you make a strong business case for the project. Then you also need to understand and identify where the glitches are. Coach your team to open their minds to digitization. New technology can sometimes be intimidating, and sometimes there's negative effect. It can negatively affect the performance of your team before it is able to enhance it. Use data to coach your team to embrace a more positive mindset. Finally, it's important that you reevaluate your digital solution of choice. Maybe this tool does not serve your specific purpose. Maybe you need something more advanced or just a different solution. This is why establishing the purpose of the solution before you invest in one is important. It minimizes the chance of a solution not working out for you or for your requirements. These steps that I mentioned may help you advance to the next step, or it may take you back to the drawing board. Either way, an assessment is necessary to ensure that you are on the right track. So, in the interest of time, I thought of sharing with you some FAQs. These are very fundamental questions because I thought that I'd be happy to also share with you my deck anyway. So this slide includes questions about what the digital transformation is about, the factors necessary for a successful HR digital transformation, and how to get started with the transformation itself. I hope that you'll find this slide in particular helpful. I'm on to my last two slides. So in summary, HR digital transformation is a continuous journey. One can easily say it's so easy to get overwhelmed with the deluge of technology. And the world of work has been going through some massive changes made more urgent and complicated by our current pandemic. I have spent two-thirds of my career in the technology space. And yet, like you, I'm also treading this transformation journey very carefully. In my experience, it helps to always begin with the end in mind. It's all about employee experience and the benefits it will bring to the organization. I'm never a big fan of big bang approaches. Phased adoption to technology is still viable and will definitely add to savings. We should think big, but it's all right to start small. When embarking on nature technology transformations, my advice is to not look for perfection. I always say this: you should endeavor for progression. If you're looking for every perfect process or every perfect launch, you will be overwhelmed. And either it does not go to the live phase, you're not able to do it on time, you delay your go lives, which will result to not making any progress at all. So organizations also must be able to strike a balance for complementary working systems between technology and people. The key to achieving this balance is not to displace human workers, but to make them more effective in performing more strategic activities. One of the most important elements that we should be very wary about is the need to make HR remain human amidst the availability of various HR technologies. HR software tools are now accessible, make it even more seductive to automate everything. These tools are not made to replace our roles as practitioners, but to bring back the sophistication or the sexy in HR. With the help of these technologies, the HR team can allot more time in communicating and building rapport with employees. Lastly, with an unprecedented growth in data and technology, our employees are now facing new levels of information overload. As a result, organizations are looking at ways in which to help them cope with change, reduce stress and burnout, and ultimately to stay happy and healthy. More companies have realized the importance of employee well being, and this is now a key priority in corporate strategy. Without intending to close my session on a heavy note, I'd like to just reiterate that whether we like it or not, uh, digital transformation isn't optional. In a world that's digitalizing at a fast pace, with consumer slash employees that don't know any better than for virtually anything in their lives to be digital, HR and employers simply cannot stay behind. Bottom line, HR's digital transformation begins with a chance to change the mindset within our HR organizations, prioritizing connectivity, real-time operations, platforms, automation, and mobile first. Digital transformation is a process and an outcome. The transition to business with technology at its center entails a shift in the culture and mindset. We should aim to create an agile organization that is ready to change as technology keeps advancing. Technology will always be ahead of the curve as we try to catch up. The absence of this agility can be one of the reasons why digital transformation strategies fail. What we as HR professionals can do is prepare our organizations and our teams to remain engaged in this process and adopt technology at its peak optimally. For that, we need to be prepared ourselves, stay aware, stay current, and ensure that we know what our competitors are doing. Keep an eye on the pulse of our organization, what it is saying, what our employees are doing. And this will allow us to initiate, complete, and keep moving forward with our vital digital transformation projects. The digital HR journey focusing on the employee and the HR experience is one part of the larger digital HR challenge. If you ask me, how can HR play a role in developing the overall digital enterprise strategy, organization, and culture? George Westerman, a research scientist from MIT, puts it well. When digital transformation is done right, it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. But when done wrong, all you have is really a fast caterpillar. In closing, allow me to pose this question to you. Using the metamorphosis of a butterfly to refer to technology, are you beyond the egg stage or a hatched larvae? Certainly, I hope we all are. Better yet, if you're now a caterpillar and you'll ask me, when should I be a butterfly? My answer is just like what my friend Gilbert said earlier, take it forward, as there is no better time than now. With that, I'd like to again thank you all for your attention. I hope you find my presentation helpful, and good afternoon.
Wow, thank you very much, Loida. Of course, indeed. What else can we say? Very, very challenging statement, very challenging question, and to the rest of the, to the audience, that's also my question. Are you already a butterfly in your state at the moment? Are you still caterpillar turning into a butterfly soon? Or you're just about to think whether you'd like to even become a caterpillar? Kasi yun eh. The challenge is that most HR and are in a pressure mode right now when most of the management CEO at that would look at us and say, okay, so what now? How do we make our employees productive? If we adopt to work a remote work from home, how do we even measure productivity? How do we even make sure that employees are with us or so on? So thank you again, Loida. That was really very, I'd say, very informative. A lot of meat to to munch, but we need to make sure that we understand it as well very well. And with that, I in fact you had already 7 questions from the floor, and I'll pick up one first. Loida, where does the change start? Is it HR head? Do you, and if it's from HR, how do you initiate change, if it in your experience?
Well, I'm again, I can tell you, I'm in a very lucky place. I'm fortunate that I look after HR, and currently I'm also the leader of the Philippines of Infor here. So it makes it really easier for me to be able to get my people get on with technology, not only because we are a technology company ourselves, but um, the new breed of people that we have right now really look for this. So it can, to answer your question, it can start from all over the organization. But what is important here is who holds the mandate. The mandate has to come from senior leadership, because without that sponsorship, nothing can move forward. So I can tell you that 80% of my employees are millennials and centennials.
Mm-hmm.
So this is exactly the thing that they're looking for. And the reason, one of the main reasons why they joined Infor as a technology company, they'd like to always be on top of their emails, have them on their mobile. And unless we get into that platform, this everything that we do renders immaterial, irrelevant to them. And
Yeah.
how do we get them engaged if we don't do it? So it's really top management seeing that these are all important as part of employee engagement.
Loida, one of the audience, one of the participants in the audience said the CEO actually should be as well be the curator for digital
Yes.
transformation. But what if you have a CEO that does not believe in digital, in any, in fact, transformation, or more so a digital transform organization? How, what would be your what would be your advice to HR listening right now? How do they win that decision to say, okay, let's move it and then take it forward? Take it forward is very much as HRTX, but how do you move it forward, Loida?
With very limited information about this CEO, and um, it's a sad state that we still have such kinds of CEO. I know of CEOs who don't get into technology because they're afraid of expenses and extra cost. To them, that's extra cost. But honestly, if the HR leader is able to make the CEO understand that the competitors are already way ahead of us. We're not even part of the the thing that they're looking at, because we're not a competitor to them anymore because we're left behind.
Mhm.
I think that's something that's very important and powerful.
Okay. We have another question from Dennis taga Mola. Some organizations use the PPS framework, people, process, policies, and systems, and can be applied to the movement of digital culture. Very similar. It's a comment actually of Dennis. From Rommel, in OD work, culture change takes at least 5 years to fruition in, hold on, I'm trying to pull to fruition in transformation. Will culture change take at least 5 years to fruition in transformation? How long does it take?
Yeah, I would say not shorter than 4 or 5 years, because as you know, culture evolves, and for culture to ripen up, people have to see and to feel the effects of the change. And the change will only happen in the second, third year that you're doing technology. There might be some short wins, but they are not as impactful as the ones, the bigger, and the bigger fruits that you can get out of it. And that normally happens 2, 3 years. So with that, with a change being felt by people, with them understanding and benefiting from the change that has just been brought about by technology, then that's where they embrace the new culture. They embrace the new ways of doing things. So
Mhm.
that's a correct comment, that it's normally 5 years before you get in the full cycle, into the full cycle. And once you're up there, you're again ripe for another change in culture.
So it
And
doesn't stop.
that's how the cycle is.
It
Yes, it
doesn't.
doesn't stop.
All right. And question, Lloyd, is it expensive to initiate, to stage digital transformation? People worry about technology. The worry as well, it always is in the mind of many people that when you want to transform an organization to an agile culture, to a digital platform, it costs a lot. But we have answers later. Pero in your opinion, Lloyd, how expensive or how not expensive it is to initiate digital transformation in HR especially?
In HR, so if this is about budget, the way I would approach it is look at the priority areas in HR, which I think are the things that I immediately need to work on. Because if I do a phased approach to this, and I was mentioning this earlier, you don't have to do a big bang way of doing things, like everything in. You can do a phased approach and just work on the ones that are are impactful, most impactful, and more meaningful for employees. So of course it can mean some investment, but it doesn't have to be an immediate cost because you're only prioritizing certain areas of HR. So it depends on the decision of management. It depends on where the company is in its transformation. If it's just starting, maybe it will make sense for them to do a mapping of the different functions in HR along with their IT, because their IT will more or less be able to help out in understanding the requirements technically. But it's really HR being the the function expert who should be able to do this.
And more so that our topic talks about total rewards and recognition and being transformed. Most of benefits and most on how we deal with compensation needs to be translated now to pays of value, and how do we see it more running on almost cashless and human, no human touch point, but high tech high touch point as well. So with that,
That's
Lloyd, we'd like to thank you again, and very interesting session with you. And we hope to, you stay and join us in the second session as we talk about how do we now transform virtual, or how do we rather transform your program in total rewards, in recognizing your employees, in making sure that they all get a benefit. How do you even do survey without doing all of these paperworks and get them done in matter of minutes, and just the instant resources available. So our second resource speaker is going to shed light on how you can convert, transform your practices in total rewards and recognition and employee engagement. We have today, and we're privileged to have the General Manager for Strategic Partnership of Xoxoday or Xoxoday. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to Mr. Aditya Adi Shah. Adi, over to you.
Thanks a lot. Hey, thanks a lot, Gilbert. Really great to have this opportunity, and it's been great to having been worked with Gilbert. And thanks a lot, Miss Loida, for starting the session on a very high note. Few key things which I took away from Miss Loida's session was that SMAC is the tool which is the future and the current, right, where social, mobile, analytics, and cloud is going to be the thing. And it's always employees first rather than the technology. And the third and the most important thing, which I just loved about her presentation, was that when she said that when digital transformation is done right, it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. But if it goes wrong, it's like a faster caterpillar, right? And just building onto that, hello, kumusta, namaste, and good evening to all my dear friends. What I'm going to take you through the next 1 hour is how we as Xoxoday help organizations build happy, motivated, and engaged teams. Today, we are present across Europe, USA, Middle East, and India, and the Asia Pacific. Let me just quickly share my screen. Priya, if you could make me the presenter.
Sure, I will. Yeah, now you can share.
Correct. So I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes.
Right. So carving in a recognition rich culture, right? It's always important as an organization to have your employee recognition, employee rewarding, and employee appreciation things in place, right? And how do you do it, right? Especially during these times when things have completely stopped, right? So there is no face time between the employees. Your people are not able to meet each other. Everything needs to be driven digitally, right? So is there a solution where you can actually drive things digitally over a platform and people don't feel that, hey, I need to meet someone, right? So that's where we at Xoxoday have built this solution where we help organizations build happy, motivated, and an engaged workforce. The entire solution, or the four key pillars that we feel around engagement, the entire platform has been built around the four pillars of employee collaboration, employee empowerment, employee motivation, and employee well-being, right? Yeah. So as Dale Carnegie rightly said, that people work for money, but go the extra mile for recognition, praise, and reward, right? So, and it's no longer that you appreciate your employees maybe once a year or maybe during holidays or New Year's. It is something which needs to be done on a regular basis, right? So you have to make sure that your employees are motivated, your employees are appreciated constantly, and it is not a one-time thing. So these are some of the buzzwords which you always think when you think about employee. So it's appreciation, it's recognition, it's rewarding, it's gratitude, right? So how do you drive these things through a digital platform? We at Xoxoday strongly believe that the recognition mantra which works for everyone is spread across these 5 mantras. One is that the recognition and the appreciation should be frequent, right? It should be, the recognition and the appreciation should be very specific. It should be visible to all, right? Gone are those days when you appreciate someone behind doors or in your small teams. It is the millennials and the new generation, and I'm sure you would agree with me, more want more and more visibility, right? And it's always good to have your recognition aligned with your organization values, and the recognition should always be very inclusive. Right. Now, unfolding the nature of rewards, right? So, what are the kind of rewards which the employee look forward to, right? So, essentially, the rewards are split into 2 parts, right? So, either they are the intrinsic rewards or the extrinsic rewards. So, when I talk about intrinsic rewards, right? So, these are the rewards which today's generation is looking forward to, right? So, this is something which brings the employee to office on a Monday, right? It is more of an intangible rewarding, right? It is more of a sense of satisfaction or a sense of pride or a sense of happiness and so on, right? Where you actually appreciate, recognize your employees on a frequent basis. And extrinsic rewards are rewards which are essentially a physical gift or a bonus or a salary or any other fringe benefits, right? So this is the main difference that you need to understand. And the beauty is that one goes along with the other, and it's not always that extrinsic. Gone are those days when extrinsic rewards was the only thing and your employees were motivated or were happy with the single thing, right? And that is where we have built this entire culture of democratizing the entire recognition at workplace, right? So, and the thing is that you don't need to let your budget be a bottleneck for this, right? So it's not always giving a compliment does not cost you anything, right? So if your colleague or your friend in the organization has helped you, it's always good to recognize them, right? It will actually encourage them to do this more often, right? And as a team, you will be able to be very successful. Yeah. So it's always your recognition journey starts with a reward structure, right? So I'll walk you through the different kinds of rewards which can actually help bring a lot of employee engagement, motivation amongst your employees. So these are the types of awards which can be there in place. It could either be occasion based awards, it could be hierarchical based awards, it could be milestone based awards like anniversary awards or sales awards or customer success awards or performance awards and so on. It could also be let us say location based awards, or it could be time based awards, right? So it is very necessary for you as an organization to make sure that you have all these things in place, and especially during these times, all these things driven through a digital platform. This is something, though times are difficult, though a lot of things are uncertain, but your employees do need recognition and they do need to be rewarded because they are still working hard to make sure that you as a company are functioning and are fighting the battle, right? One thing that we have realized is that it is very important to make sure that you name and you the entire naming of your award is very important as an organization, right? And as Lloyda also rightly said, right? So digital transformation is something which is a continuous process. Though you might have things already in place, but it's always good to relook and make sure that whatever it is for today, right? So these are some examples of awards which I'm going to share in the next couple of minutes, which can be configured on the platform, and it can make your organization feel that, hey, you are the organization which cares about your employees, right? So these are some of the awards which can be configured, right? And also the titles, right? The award titles should be such that they resonate very strongly with your employees, right? The employee should feel that, hey, yeah, this is something, for example, right? It could be the Bravo Award, it could be the Superstar Award, it could be the Limelight Award, right? So these are some of the performance-based awards that I'm talking about. Some examples, right? So actually the employee should be able to associate him or her with this award, right? So these are some examples which I'm showing you of the award, which can be named, which can be transformed, right? So it is essentially an entire transformation journey where you come up with a lot of creative names. You come up with names which are uh, today's names, right? Which your employees will associate themselves with, right? So these are some innovative names when it comes to the Spot Awards. These are some ideas when it comes to the peer-to-peer awards or the Project Excellence Award, and so on, right? So these are, if you just look into the names, right? The Einstein Award or the Game Changer Award or the Top Initiator Award, right? So these things, when awarded to an employee, it matters a lot, right? And they feel that, hey, yeah, I am being someone who is connected to this particular award, right? These are rewards which could be designed for, let us say, some specific occasions, right? It could be for your sales team to make sure that you boost your sales team on proper occasions. Also, it is very important that all these things are automated, right? Or else what happens is, if things are not automated, uh, if a reward or an award is delayed, it is equal to an award not given. So you have to make sure that things and the awards which are given to an employee are very timely, right? So these are some interesting names of different kinds of awards which can be set up in the organization, right? So these are the welcome award awards, right? So whenever any newbie or the newcomer joins an organization, it's always good to welcome them, right? So they also feel very positive, they are charged up. So these are some innovative ideas and some options to showcase how you can actually build a culture of appreciation and rewarding in your organization, right? And as rightly said, right, rewarding value badges speaks volume of your company. So these are some of the value badges where you can actually associate uh, rewarding to, right? It is innovation, it is willpower, teamwork, flexibility, and so on, right? So these are some examples, and just to show you the entire user journey, right? So uh, what are the rewards and when the reward should be given, right? So it's not only that for a achievement or for a milestone the reward should be given or the person should be appreciated. The appreciations and the rewards should happen at a constant pace, right? So either it is employees day one in the organization, or if it is their work anniversary, or you are actually recognizing them for a particular project or a task. It's always good to and just to tell you that it's not necessary that these rewards or awards or appreciations have to be monetary. It is important that you recognize the employee, right? It is important that you remember the employee, right? Either it could be a team award, a promotion, wedding wishes, or alumni award, or a retirement award, and so on, right? So now you all must be having a question that, hey, all this is fantastic, but how do you put this into place into a digital platform, right? So now let me show you how the platform actually really works. So this is the live platform that I'm showing you. This is what we call as Empuls, where it helps organizations to find the employee pulse of an organization, and hence it is called as Empuls. Currently what I'm showing you is a live feed of our own platform, which is used across by our entire organization, which is spread across different geographies. So we have got our employees in Philippines, we have got our employees in Singapore, we've got our employees in USA, Europe, and so on, right? So all the people are associated with a single platform. And the best part is, whatever you are currently seeing, the same version or the same things are available on mobile app, right? And generally what we hear from people is that almost 65% of our platform usage happens on mobile phone, right? So now coming to the platform. So if you see over here, all the communication and appreciation happens over the platform, and everything is public, right? So the best part is the platform is completely white label solution where you can customize things as per your company requirements, right? You can change the company logo, you can change the colors, the guidelines as per your company requirement. So all the important announcement happening in the organization can be posted over here, and it is made sure that none of the important announcements or organization or information is missed out by any of the employees, right? So if you are able to see across my timeline, there are a lot of interesting conversations which are happening, right? So we have a new on board today during these COVID times. We have someone who has joined one of our teams, and it's so easy. The ice breaking happens so fast that once it is so, and all this is done automatically, right? So since this our Empuls is integrated with your HRIS solution, automatically once a new user joins the platform or is onboarded to the organization, it will automatically showcase as a new onboard joinee, and people can actually wish him or high-five him or do multiple engagement activities with the employee, right? Similarly, birthdays and work anniversaries will also be visible over here to all the employees, and then people can actually go ahead and wish those employees, right? So if you see over here, people would have wished the employees for their birthdays, right? So what happens over here is you are actually making it uh, the employee feel that, hey, this is something or the organization cares for you, right? So recently we had a new mom in our organization, and this is how the entire organization sees. And if you see the wishes that she has received, it's fantastic, right? You feel that, hey, though I'm away, though I'm on a mat leave, but yeah, I'm closely connected to the organization. Also, the idea of the platform is to build a culture of recognition and a culture of appreciation, right? So if you see over here on the platform, all the employees are appreciated. Even it's essentially like a peer-to-peer appreciation where employees are appreciated on a regular basis, so that they feel, and these are based on the company values, right? So these company values can be pre-configured and the appreciations can be given. Essentially what we are trying to do with this is that we are trying to build a culture of appreciation in the organization. So what happens is that the employee feels motivated, the employee feels charged up that, hey, though I am working remotely, I understand. And it is more important now rather than ever before, because usually what happened is that if you have done good work, an employee can or your colleague could just come to you and say that, hey mate, you have done a fantastic work, thanks a lot for your help, right? But it's very difficult to communicate that at this point of time. And that is where we strongly feel that appreciating and sending regular nudges to your colleagues is something which is really appreciated by the entire organization, right? Also over here, you can, so you see, right? So a great initiative in getting the product demo done or getting the videos ready and so on, right? So it is essentially creating a culture of employee appreciation and employee recognition. Also, employees can share their day-to-day activities if they want to on the town hall, where they feel more connected, right? And also people who have similar interests or hobbies can actually connect with those employees more. So yeah, similarly, if you see, a lot of people have appreciated each other across the platform, and it's essentially building that culture, though it takes time, it happens over a period of time, but the idea is to build a culture of appreciation, a culture of awarding and rewarding in your organization, right? Now coming to the next step, where we have called something called as groups, right? So over here, these groups could again be open groups or closed groups, and all the discussions can be kept restricted or unrestricted. You can create multiple groups over here. It could be either be based on your hobbies, interests, or these groups could also be based on different regions, right? So it could be Southeast Asia region, the US region, and so on. Since we have teams spread across different geographies, we have got multiple groups, right? So you can always communicate with each other in different groups, and you can have multiple groups based on hobbies, based on ideas, based on interests, and so on, right? So we have a huge group when it comes to football, we have cycling enthusiasts, and so on, right? So the idea is to make sure that though we are not physically meeting each other, but we are making sure that we engage and bond through a single platform. Right now, coming to the next step, where you have to create an award, right? So for example, if you want to appreciate your colleague, or if you want to appreciate any of your friends who have helped in your small work, what you have to do is you just click on the name. Just the idea over here is to showcase that how easy it is to appreciate anyone across the organization, right? You select how he or she has helped you. You can also mention the reason, right? And you can select that, hey, do you want this to be posted on the entire company town hall, or do you want this to be restricted across a particular geography or a particular group, right? You can decide that. If the person is from a sales team, or if the person is from marketing team, you can actually restrict it, and you can click on appreciate, and you are good to go, right? So that appreciation goes across the platform, and the colleague will feel proud that, hey, it's good that I have helped my friend, right? Over here, you are, by your small gesture, you are actually impacting big, right? And that's the motivation for an employee. Now let us say if you want to give an award which is a monetary award, right? For example, you might have awards, employee of the quarter, employee of the year, or so on. So these are some of the awards which are pre-configured for our portal, but again, you can configure it as per your organization. Over here, you'll be able to see points, right? So essentially, these points are equivalent to money. So 1 point is equal to 1 Philippine peso, and you can always customize this. You can keep 10 points equal to 1 peso, and so on, right? Again, over here, you'll be able to see that these awards could be either peer-to-peer award, these could be complex nomination-based awards, these could be jury-based awards, and so on, right? So if it is a multi-level approval award, there will be a function over here which will be written that this award needs approval, right? Once you select this award, you click on continue, and you mention the reason why you are awarding the award to a particular person, right? You can use multiple hashtag, and if you want, you can also add any collateral or anything that you have with the award, and then you can actually select the approver, right? So automatically the platform will prompt you for multiple approver on the platform. So you select the approver and you submit the nomination, right? So this is as simple as that, where you can just easily send a monetary award to anyone, right? Also, if you want to create that award, right? So what happens is, when onboarding a particular organization, we help the organization completely create and customize all their awards as per the organization's requirement. So just to show you, so these are some of the different types of awards which could be created, and these covers all the complex awards which I showcased in my initial presentation during the beginning. So let us say, for example, if you want to go ahead with a nomination-based award, right? And you want to create that award. How do you create that award? So you click on next, you select an image that you want to associate with that award. You type in that best employee of the quarter. You give some award description. And also over here, you can select that, hey, this award is a single recipient award, or this is a multiple recipient award, right? So when I talk about multiple recipient awards, there are, so you agree, right? So there are a lot of these awards which are essentially team-based awards, right? So for example, if best team of the quarter, right? And then I can select multiple recipient, and then I'll be asked that if the budget for this award is 10,000 points or 10,000 pesos, do I want this budget to be divided equally among all recipients, where, let us say, if it is a team of 10, everyone will get 1,000 pesos as part of the appreciation, or do you want to send same points to all recipients, right? So if I select on send same points to all recipients, 10,000 points will go to all the recipients, and they can actually, I'll also come to that, how they can spend and consume their points, right? To the advanced setting, we have got some really great options where you can also attach a digital certificate, right? Now what is happening is that all the town halls are moving digital, and it is very difficult to appreciate someone physically, and hence we have come up with a complete digital solution where you can have your own certificate. You can customize it as per your company and organization's requirement. You can put it over here, right? You can also decide that, hey, while creating these awards, who are the people whom you want to, who are the stakeholders which should be informed when this particular award is being given, right? So either the award could be a CEO's award or a board members award or something like that. Then you can select particular people whom should be informed once the award is automatically triggered, right? Also over here you can link the award to multiple organization values, right? So you can select what all values do you want to associate this particular award with, right? So these are the simple steps on how you can create an award for your organization. You click on next, and within 3 clicks the award can be sent or nominated to everyone. Next. Yeah, so within 3 clicks you are good to go. An award has been made for your organization, which actually the employees could use and could give to each other based on what kind of award it has been created, right? And it is always very easy to enable or disable the award at any point of time. Also, we have something called as automated gifting, right? And as rightly said, right, so every occasion for an employee is very important, right? So it could either be their birthdays, their work anniversaries, or even if it could be a new joinee on board, right? So it is very important that you make sure that these occasions are valued and the employee is appreciated, or maybe employee has been sent a greeting or some appreciation note or points as a welcome, right? So these are some things where you can customize. So this is how it looks. If you want to send a birthday invite, your message will come over here. You can also select that, hey, do you want this to be a monetary one or a non-monetary one? If you want this to be a monetary one, you can select the points, you can enable them, and you can put, let us say, 1,000 pesos over here. If you want to add a short description, you can do that. If you want that, hey, these are the people whom should be informed on their birthdays, that is also something which can be done. And you click on next. This is how the email will go to the employee. This is how the email will trigger to the employee. And once you click on next, you're good to go, right? The award is created and the data will be automatically fetched from the HRIS and will be sent to the employee on their birthdays or work anniversary or whatever award has been made or designed in the platform, right? So this is more to do with the employee awarding and the employee appreciation part of the platform. Now you might have a question saying that, hey, so when I said that, right, so this is how the employee receives the points, and when he or she clicks on redeem points, this is the platform which will be visible to the employee, where he or she can decide what kind of awards they want to buy, right? So I as an employee will be directed to a platform where all the gift options in terms of it could be gift vouchers, it could be experiences, or it could be anything else. So let me select Philippines, for example, over here. I think I'm facing, yeah. So over here, I select Philippines. So what happens is this automatically fetches the location based on your geography. So since currently I'm based out of India, I'll see things relevant to India. Now as an employee, I can decide that, hey, what is something that I want to buy with the points or the awards that my organization has given, right? So this is how it will be visible to the employee, and the employee has the flexibility to choose the points wherever they want to use, right? So here you are actually not restricting your employees to a particular gift voucher or a particular experience or a particular brand or a particular mall. You are giving them the flexibility to choose what they want, right? So let us say if I've got 1,000 pesos as part of an award, I can give my wife a good spa experience, right? Rather than buying a Grab or something else, I could give her something which excites my family. or I could also choose from some fantastic experiences which are curated for families, right? So these are some experiences which can also be availed, and these experiences are spread across multiple categories. Right? So this is more to do with the awards and how the awards can be actually utilized. Now coming to the survey part of the platform, right? So what we have is, as we told you, right? So this is a complete comprehensive single platform where you can drive engagement, you can drive rewarding, you can drive appreciations, you can drive surveys, right? So especially at this point of time, companies have been doing regular pulse surveys, companies have been doing regular COVID surveys and multiple other surveys to test the pulse of their employees, right? To test and check that, hey, how do my employees feel, right? And for that, you have been using multiple tools. Why not have a single tool to drive everything, right? So over here, these are some of the industry standard templates which are already there. It could be the COVID-19 preparedness survey, or the exit interview survey, or the training feedback survey, or anything, right? So let us say if it is a COVID survey, I just select the template. If I want to go ahead with this template, I just click on use the template and roll out to the entire organization. Within 2 clicks, I can easily roll out the survey to the entire organization. Now, let us say if you want to customize the survey, right? You can click over here and create your own surveys. And you can also decide that, hey, do you want these surveys to be anonymous surveys, or do you want these surveys to be public surveys, right? And similarly, you can decide what kind of surveys you want to roll out across the organization. Now coming to the employee lifecycle surveys or the pulse surveys, right? So usually, as I mentioned, right, so companies, when I talk about pulse surveys, companies have been conducting surveys maybe six months, once in 6 months or once a year, but the trend is changing, right? And it is very important for you to actually measure the pulse of your employees on a regular basis. And hence we have got pulse surveys. So this is how you can roll out the engagement surveys in your organization. And what happens is, once the survey is done, this is how the result will look like, right? So you as an organization will be able to figure out your employee net promoter scores. You can figure out that, hey, who are the people in my organization, who are the promoters, who are passives, and who are detractors, right? So promoters are people who are completely happy with your organization. It is the passives and the detractors where you have to make sure that you put in your efforts, or there are high chances that you might just lose them, right? And this is how the complete breakage of the reports come to you as a HR leader, and you can always drill down these reports and figure out that, hey, what are the actual problems. So these departments, so these reports are spread across departments, right? So you will be able to see that, hey, my design teams has these problems, my product teams have these problems, my sales team have these problems. But at a company level, these are some of the engagement dimensions where I as a company lack, and these are some parameters which I have to work for, or else there are high chances that I might lose my detractors and passives from the organization, right? So health and safety, role clarity, and career growth were 3 aspects which were highlighted by employees. And these are some of the feedbacks. If the feedbacks are not anonymous, also the feedbacks will be visible to you as a HR leader, right? So this is something which is very important for you to track on a constant basis, right? Now coming to the reports part, right? So as a HR head, it's always important to track the reports and to have a feel of the entire organization, right? So over here, what you can do is, so this is how our reports look, right? So you can actually see the entire budget distribution in terms of rewards and recognition. So for example, you will be able to see the budget in terms of your different departments. The budget will also be visible in terms of different geographies. So for example, if your company is spread across 10 different geographies, you'll be able to see the budget across 10 different geographies. You'll be able to also see the point movement in the system, right? So what is the point movement in the system? Where are the awards being spent, or where is the budget being spent of the entire organization, right? So all the details will be visible over here. And what happens is, once you start using the platform over a period of time, historically, you will be having so much data that you can actually work upon and figure out, right? So for example, if you want to check the attrition in your organization, right? So if you use the tool over a period of time, you can actually predict your attrition based on the historical trends. For example, if you have been using the tool since past 3 years, from the graph, you can see that, hey, high chances that in the year of March 2018, in the month of March, I had a huge attrition. And similar trends, you can always download the data and observe similar trends across years. And then you can predict that, hey, what are the trends going to be this year also, right? And similarly, you can always have multiple reports in terms of engagement, in terms of the group level activities and the active users who are using the platform, right? So this is something which is also one very important thing. What is the adoption rate of the platform? So what we do is, together with the HR leaders, we make sure that we help in increasing the adoption of the platform, right? So that is something which is a constant thing at our end. Over here, we have also tried to bring in gamification to the platform, where we have a gamified leaderboard. So what happens is, when, let us say, when I click on the leaderboard, I will be able to see the ratings and ranking, right? So this is essentially based on the company recognition and the engagement that an employee drives, right? The idea is to make sure that you bring in the employee again and again to the product and help them drive multiple sorts of different levels of engagement, right? Then we also have a chatbot which we call as Eti. So what we have done over here is, you can actually customize the chatbot as per your company requirement, and you can talk to Eti and say that, hey Eti, can you tell me all the awards or the rewards which are configured for my organization? Essentially, you are making sure that you remove all the burden which an employee usually comes to you, or the employee does not need to go through any FAQs or anything. They have a chatbot to answer all their queries, right? So, and then there are multiple features associated with the entire platform. But yeah, for today, I would say that this is something which I truly believe that a lot of organizations at this point of time have been adopting to. They are making sure that though their employees are far away from there, though their employees are working from home or anywhere across the world, they are connected with each other through a single platform, on mobile, on platform, on web, and they are closely engaged across the platform. Yeah, so this is all from my end, Gilbert, for now. I would be happy to take if there are any questions or anything. Yeah, Gilbert? Yeah, hi Gilbert. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, Aditya, you are audible.
I think.
Gilbert, you are on mute. Let me just WhatsApp him and just
Sure,
check.
sure. Yeah, so just wanted to quickly understand from the audience that if there are any questions or any queries where I can help you with. Yeah, so there is this question which says that can the platform be tailor-made? Yes, absolutely. So as I told you, the platform is a complete white label solution, and you can customize the platform as per your company's requirement. There are a lot of features which are usually tailor-made, and there are features which can be customized as per your organization's requirement. Yeah, Gilbert, over to you. And thanks a lot for the opportunity.
All right, sure. Thank you so much, Adi, for sharing with us that it's actually possible to engage employees. And great thing that you're bringing in a technology similarly to Lloyd's Infor products are able to convert HR technology. The question there is, how do they start now? This is a question for the both of you. So if they were to propose something to their CEO tomorrow, Loida and Adi, what would be the first thing? Small, and does technology, in your opinion, does it choose a company, or when do you determine that it's the right time? Loida was saying now,
Absolutely.
and if you don't move anything from now, until probably I can only say the urgency is there. How do you now move things faster to be a butterfly soon?
Yes, absolutely. And this is a very good point which Loida had highlighted, that rather than delaying any further, it is the time now. And we at as Xoxoday would be more than happy to help all the organizations and would be happy to support them in all the way that they would require from our end to start something on those lines, and to make sure. So the idea is to make sure that your employees are engaged, they are connected with each other, especially during this part of time.
And Adi, is it expensive? This is the same question I asked Loida. How expensive is it? Is it to implement digital transformation?
So yeah, so just to answer that, Gilbert, it's not at all expensive. When I talk about especially our product, we have priced it in such a way the product is priced just at $2 per employee per month, and hence it becomes very easy for any company to adopt a product like that. And also, we would be happy to give free trials to all the joinees who have joined for the session, and would want to make sure that they leverage this opportunity where they can bring in all their company employees to experiment with the platform. And this is not only going to be for, let us say, a week or a month or so. We would be happy to share a free, completely free, without any terms and conditions platform for 3 months.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. Are you sure you're giving it for free for 3 months, Adi? Because well, at least for employees, I mean for HR to be able to do survey from their employees, and for them to be able to implement rewards and recognition, putting everybody in the virtual platform is going to be a big and a plus factor to initiate and get things done. I mean, get things started.
Absolutely, absolutely. And hence, and that's the idea, that it is at this point of time we want to make sure that we as a community come together and help each other, right? So it is not the time to, I would say, earn. It is a time to learn and share experiences and let people actually experiment and make sure that people and their employees are happy.
Wonderful. And there's already a question. How do we avail of the free trial? What are the first things for them to get the free trial? And you're saying that the entire company can experience a digital platform, and maybe that could be a starting point for HR to trigger change.
Yes.
And my understanding is that we will be able to help them journey in this digital platform. Is that right, Adi?
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you just want to quickly get started to the free trial, you can just drop a mail to Gilbert, and I think we should be able to get your entire company up and running with the platform, with the mobile app, within not more than 3 days.
How long does it take for them to be able to complete the whole program in a digital platform, Adi? How do you transition the entire platform? How long does it take?
Right. So we have actually designed the platform in such an easy way that the adoption happens very quickly. Also, what happens is that we have a dedicated team which will be guiding all the HR leaders on a regular basis to make sure that the adoption increases. And what we have seen from our recent experiences, right? Because people, since all communication happens through a platform like this, within the first month itself, around 60 to 70% of the adoption to the platform is there, right? And then it is a matter of word of mouth, where people and colleagues start talking to each other that, hey, because you can actually run multiple level of engagement activities also on the platform. Maybe that is something which, since today we are focusing more around awards, that is something which I was not able to showcase. But yeah, you can actually run a lot of engagement activities. So the entire organization can come together and the adoption happens very quickly.
Okay, and Adi, I'm not sure if you mentioned that the program is accessible via webinar, or is it a mobile? Is it on mobile application?
Sure. So the entire platform is available on Android, iOS, and all the other mobile devices. Also, the same is available on web. And so across all platforms, it's available. We have made sure that it becomes as easy for your employees to adopt as fast, right? And hence, we have made it very simple. Also, if you actually experience the mobile experience, it is fantastic, is what I would say. Where, especially when I talk about surveys, we have got the surveys designed in a very emoticon form, where emojis will be visible of agree, disagree, sad, and so on. So it's very easy to drive multiple things across different platforms, and we are present across all the platforms.
Thank you, Adi. And, definitely we will, I'm sure a lot of our attendees will take the offer to try it out for their organization over a period of 3 months without commitment to buy in or get in. Again, guys, this is all about, having to experience a digital platform of your HR. I'm not sure if Loida is active, but if there's also an offer from Infor, happy that Infor could probably let people experience the platform, Loida, that we're all saying. But if not, at least we thank our members, our partners from Xoxoday for, a great 4th of July gift that we're giving it out, and for letting people to experience. I guess one thing that we probably will have to consider is, how do we now make sure that the organization is ready to take this kind of change so that people adjust and adapt to and continue to become happy, productive, and well engaged. Right, Adi?
Absolutely.
All right. So, are there questions from the floor? Let me just see my Q&A. There's another question, I guess. Just look at it. Okay. Are there questions that you'd like to ask for Aditya Shah? So we've answered the question, how can we avail of the free trial? Kindly just email us at Angelo is also in the room, and Angelo will reach out to everybody should you decide to take the offer for a free trial. So thank you, Adi. They're already thanking you as early as this time for allowing them to, experience. Hopefully that gets through very well. Other questions coming from the floor? Okay, looks like everyone's happy. And we promise that we'll keep this up until 7 o'clock. It's already 7:08. At this point, allow me now to thank, Loida Sagaran, the country lead for Infor and the senior HR director for APAC and Philippines. And so with Aditya Shah, the general manager for APAC for strategic partnership. Adi and Loida, thank you so much. Thank you, Priya. Thank you, Angelo. And thank you, everybody, for joining us in another session. Very informative and engaging. And, there's so much reward. There's reward that we got today. So in case you're interested, feel free to communicate with us. Again, my name is Gilbert Kamasura. In behalf of HRTX, maraming salamat po and have a good evening. Thank you, Adi. And thank you, Loida.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Bye for now.